So I recently read a very short little story that was an analogy that I thought was pretty fun and something worth reflecting on. There's a father who's sitting at the dining room table with his son, and his son stands up on his chair, looks down at his father and says, "Look, Dad, I'm bigger than you," because he's on this higher platform. And what the story is trying to teach us is that although the child is standing up on the chair, thinking he's bigger than his father, the mindset itself is childish. And obviously, we could all immediately relate to that because we know the father is the adult in the room and the child just thinks he's better because he's on a higher platform. And what this really does is it extends to anybody who thinks that whatever platform they may be standing on makes them better than the next person. So many of us are childish in that way. It could be a literal object like a chair, or it could be getting up and saying, "I have more money. I'm bigger than you. I have a better house. I'm bigger than you. Look at my wife. That makes me better. Look at my achievements." All of these things are just as superficial and just as much of an illusion as that child who's thinking that he's better. And what's funny is that obviously it's the adult who's sitting down, who's just observing this person gloating and is able to be there without having his ego be challenged, without feeling this need to jump in and compete with this person. That's actually the bigger and more mature person in the room. And in life, I think it's very much the same way. Yeah, this person may have a platform to stand on, so to speak, but their approach to it is just as childish as this little kid. And it's just so prevalent nowadays, right? We see people who are pushing this idea that, and listen, to be frank with you guys, with a lot of these content creators who maybe they're self-proclaimed alpha males, or maybe their audience or the people critiquing them are projecting this title onto them. Either way, there's a lot about what they do, their approach to things that I could actually relate to a lot. I'm one of those people who likes to get up and be driven. Obviously, I like to project this in in fitness, in work, how I approach experiences in life. So this isn't a critique in them as people. As a matter of fact, I don't know them as people at all. But I will be true to my initial thoughts because I don't want to be right or wrong with anybody. I want to be honest, and I want to let the cards fall where they may. So there is a lot there that I can relate to, but it's this idea that what I have and what I do makes me better than another person that I think we have to challenge, not only when we see it in other people, but when we're actually doing it ourselves, because none of that makes you, quote unquote, an alpha person. You know, I heard another definition that I thought was interesting and something that I've kind of kept in my mind. And in this case, it's just alpha for lack of a better word, because truth of the matter is this doesn't make you better than the person next to you either. But this definition of alpha as somebody who just understands that they can be empowered to make the changes necessary in their life. That's something that I can really appreciate, because we've all been in moments where we don't feel that we can actually make the change that we need to do to see the results that we want to have. And it's only when we're able to be in a different mind state that we understand, hey, I've been empowered to do this the whole time. I've been able to get up and push myself harder than I thought I could. I've been able to get up and learn skills that I didn't know that I was actually going to be able to learn. I was actually able to go out and accomplish things that I thought would be too difficult for me. When someone's able to tap into that mindset, that's my idea of an alpha male. And what I really like about that is you're not really competing with anybody else. You're just competing with yourself. You're just finding a way to push yourself harder and further than you thought was possible, because most of these standard metrics, let's be honest, I know they say that if you're more fit than the majority of people in the room, that makes you an alpha male by this superficial definition, but there's always going to be somebody more fit. If money's the metric, there's always going to be somebody who has more money. If it's a beautiful spouse, there's always going to be someone who has a more beautiful spouse, at least how they may be perceived by the majority of people. So if you're always playing this game, you're always going to come up short, because there's always going to be somebody better in a different category. Even with fighting, that person who's at the very top of the chain, that person who seems like they can't be beat at all, yeah, they may be the best by almost every definition, but if you get them in a ring with somebody who styles up well with them, they could lose to that person. They could lose to someone who, at least on paper, doesn't even have the skills that they have. This is why they say style makes fights. So there's always somebody who's going to be able to beat you in some way, shape, or fashion, if this is how you're going out and wanting to be involved with other people, if it's always some form of competition. But if you're just looking at yourself and you're just looking at how you could be a little bit better tomorrow than you were yesterday, and understand that you can be empowered to do that, then I think that's a great quality. And like I said, for lack of a better word, I'll call that alpha, because I know that not everybody has that mindset. I know I've been through waves of either having it or not having it. I've been feeling like there's something that I can't accomplish, and I go for it, while simultaneously having another desire that I don't think that I'm able to do. And the more that I'm able to just reflect and dissect these things closer and deeper, and understand that there's very little you can't do with a proper mindset, then you could put yourself on a different path. And so that's something that I can definitely appreciate. But the philosophy of feeling that you could stand on anything, and the story that I said at the beginning, a chair, like a physical object to look down on somebody, or stand on your appearance, stand on your money, stand on your social network. It's just as childish as thinking that you could stand on a chair and literally be bigger than the person next to you. And so in many senses, not only the content creators that I was referring to, but many of us will always remain children, right? Politicians think that the more that they can take over other people, the more that they could, gain power, the better a person that they're going to be. Religious figures, there's so many people that play the same childish game. Now, am I saying childish is good or bad? That may be up to you to decide. But I am saying that there is a lack of understanding and a form of immaturity there, because most people will understand, or most people will know that that doesn't make you a better person. As a matter of fact, the majority of people that are looking at you probably wouldn't even want to trade places with you despite your success, despite your achievements. We're all still in that mindset that we're the person that we want to be. We're still that main character, and we're still working on our own lives. So even you having these achievements and thinking that I literally want to be like you is an illusion in and of itself. So it's definitely something that I think we should think about, not only how we're looking at these other people who are maybe arrogant in this type of way or bragging in this type of way, but obviously ourselves, because it's never going to be a final destination. I could be good today, and then tomorrow I could be up on that same chair talking about, man, check it out. So that is my thought on this one. Just wanted to share it with you guys, and thank you for watching. I'll talk to you next time.